This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, everyone. This is your on-air automotive magazine, and as usual, your two editors of the magazine are here, as we are every week. I'm Les Jackson. He's Fred Staab.
Hello.
You know that. And as usual, the auto industry has provided us with lots to talk about, so no point in putting it off. What do you think?
No, I don't think so, Les. Let's not put it off any longer. Let's jump into it. Toyota reveals the ultimate SUV, and it is the Grand Highlander. We're going to talk about that. One big machine, for sure.
Well, you know, big machines just keep cropping up. And if you're in the mood for something a bit smaller, Subaru unwraps the all-new Crosstrek. People have been waiting for that.
Yeah, they sure have, and it's got a lot of new features. We'll jump into that and tell you all about it for sure. And then, what is the key to saving sedans? Well, Honda says it knows what group of people can save sedans. Is it you and me, Les?
I don't know. I'll help if I can.
Okay.
And speaking of plans, Hyundai has a plan for consumers wanting to tip their toes into the world of electric vehicles, and we'll tell you what it is.
Yes, it looks like a phone app. It's called Evolve Plus, and it's kind of a topic you and I have been talking about, how buying an electric car might be just, a little bit shocking for certain people nowadays. No pun intended. A lot of developments underway, and, they might not want to invest a lot of money. So Evolve has a way for them to get into it a little bit easier than just dumping out a lot of money. And, okay, Les, I got a question for you. I love this story. There's a new study that looks into the concept of why do we like the smell of gasoline. And this new study has some actual ideas. Now,
I used to love the smell of gasoline when lead was in it.
Oh, okay.
Because the lead added some kind of a sweet, fruity smell to the petroleum smell. I don't really like the smell of gasoline. Modern gasolines, it just it smells too chemically. But
I like racing gas, the smell of racing gas.
Well, definitely all the alcohol. Yeah.
So
hey.
All right, and so we will also have that, and we will have an at-the-wheel review of an incredible vehicle from over at Lexus. One of the most beautiful colors I have seen on a car in a long time.
I like that color.
That is the Lexus RC350 FSport. It is a 2+2 sports car with a lot of power, a lot of good looks, a long hood, and a short rear deck.
2+2. That means 2 doors.
2 doors, and
boy, that's nervy of them to come out with a 2-door car.
Yeah, exactly. And so pretty cool stuff. Excited to tell you all about that. We have a good at the wheel review for you, so you want to stick around for that and a whole lot more when we get rolling on Cruise Control. We will be right back. We're going to take a quick break. So stay tuned, and we'll be getting to it right after this.
You know, I always...
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's time for the big one, the biggest SUV, the Grand SUV. Are you ready? Toyota reveals the Grand Highlander this week, Les Jackson. That is one big SUV. The ultimate family SUV made its world premiere at the Chicago Auto Show. And it is quite impressive. There's actually a hybrid version of this, too. So let's dig into this big vehicle, the ultimate family SUV. 3 powertrains, adult-sized third row. How many third rows? I've been in third rows where I can't use them, and I'm not a large person, you know. So it's interesting that they would call that out. But they call that a midsize SUV, believe it or not.
Wow. What do they call full size?
I don't know. It's built on the TNGA-K platform and is an active family cruiser fit for long trips with ample cargo capacity. And powertrain, they've got 3 powertrains in front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. They've got a 2.4-liter turbo gas engine and a 2.5-liter hybrid front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. And for the performance folks that want that, they have a hybrid max, 362 horsepower with 400 pound-feet of torque with all-wheel drive standard. So they've got a lot of options out there. The hybrid being the hot one. The different grades, they start off with the XLE grade that gives you things like 18-inch wheels, black painted grille, roof rails, heated outer mirrors, and then they have, you would step up to the limited grade, which would give you 20-inch alloy wheels, LED, daylight running lights, power fold outer mirrors, and then platinum, 20-inch clad alloy wheels, heated and ventilated second row seats, and paddle shifters for the all-wheel drive gas and hybrid max versions of these. Safety, of course, it's a Toyota, so they've got all kinds of safety material. They've got a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, full range dynamic radar, cruise control, lane tracing assist, road sign assist, automatic high beams, proactive driving assist. Look at this thing. It's like a family house inside.
May I interject some marketing verbiage?
Sure.
The exterior is beautiful yet functional, and the body-colored rear pillars express a certain robustness.
All right.
I was going to say that before I read it.
Yeah, I actually was reading a computer review this week, and the marketing speak was funny. It was borrowed. Somebody was reviewing the computer, and they said, you know, well, the computer's nice. It's shiny. It's got a new color. It's got some a lighted keyboard, and then it said, owners of this computer want it to be more like a companion than a computer.
You know,
do you remember on Top Gear where they read the PR material and they said it's so big you could live in it for a week, and then they actually lived in the car for a week? It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was going to say this thing is so big to me that it's got its own postal code.
Yes, I would say so. I would say so.
It's funny that even as big as these things are, and you know, even the Ford Exposition, they still call them 7-passenger.
Well, that's because of the captain seats in the second row. The captain seats.
Well, true. True.
So you lose a passenger, but you gain that pass-through. But, hey, the hybrid version of it, I think that's going to be a hot number. I think so. Those are really big horsepower numbers. And a usable rear seat, because I think a lot of these seats were, yeah, they were seat, but
token.
Yeah, your knees would be up around your ears, you know, and there's no leg room. So, you know, there you have it. But that is one big SUV. When we come back, we're going to tell you about something a little bit smaller. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. We are going to shift our size category from the Toyota Mega to the Subaru Crosstrek, which is not tiny by any stretch of the imagination,
No.
but it's a compact SUV.
Yeah, it is. It is a compact SUV, but certainly, or CUV, but certainly one that is super popular. I mean,
Oh boy,
these things land at the dealers and they're gone in about 15 days, I believe. So it is a very popular vehicle. They were supposed to have a new vehicle, the 2023 model was supposed to be the all-new Crosstrek, but that got delayed due to the chip shortage, and they basically brought out the 22 as a new 23 model. It wasn't all that new. But it has the 11-inch Subaru Starlink multimedia system available. That is something you will find on the Outlander. It's very nice. It is a vertical screen. The latest version of the EyeSight driver assist technology is standard. That, I believe, is a mono camera now as opposed to two cameras, which they say does a better job. Available wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Of course, it's got the Subaru Symmetric all-wheel drive, which is great stuff, and makes these things very capable. If you've never driven one of these, they are super, super capable vehicles. They really are. The higher-end models get the 2.5-liter, 182 horsepower Boxer engine. That is a carryover. And another thing that's a carryover is the MSRP, which starts at $24,995, the same as the older 2023 Crosstrek, which is great news. Very capable. No word less on the wilderness version of the Crosstrek. Will there be a wilderness version? Everyone's been asking about that. So far, they've just they have pricing on the various different models, and I believe they have the base, the premium, the sport, and the limited. The sport being shown right there with its yellow highlights, but no wilderness edition. So wilderness edition gives it a little bit more height, a little bit more off-road.
You know, there'll be one sooner or later.
Oh, I agree. I even think later this year. I think later this year they will be showing that. So, but really, the range is not bad. The base is $24,995. The premium jumps up to $26,145. The sport, as it's shown, is $28,995, and the limited is $30,895. And keep in mind, all of them are all-wheel drive because that's just what Subaru does. I think people are going to welcome the updated infotainment. I know I will, and I'm hoping that also means that there is a heated steering wheel, because that weirdly is an option that was not available in the U.S. but was available in Canada, and people were going and buying the parts from Canadian Subaru dealers to put on their Subarus, which apparently was a pretty involved thing to do.
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it should have a heated steering wheel. I don't know why it wouldn't. Another thing it didn't have that I use all the time is dual zone AC, HVAC. The old one didn't have that, so this new one will have that.
Which, again, has become kind of an, gotta have.
Yeah.
Even though, how many people get manual heating controls anymore?
I don't know. I don't know how many people do, but
Yeah,
probably not a lot, I would
probably not
imagine.
many.
Yeah. I mean, because the level of equipment has gone way up in cars. But let's talk about a big change you and I have been talking about for quite some time, and that is the demise of the sedan, Les. But one manufacturer feels that they know who will who will be the key to sedans, and that is Honda. They say Gen Z is the key to future sedan sales. And why they say that is they say Gen Z will not want to be seen in an SUV just the way they did not want to be seen, earlier generations did not want to be seen in the minivans of their
Or
parents.
station wagons. You know what? First, bless you, Gen Z. Um, but I agree with this. I think it makes perfect sense that that generation wants to reject what the previous generations had. And yeah, I think Honda is right.
Well, there was that talk of demise, and younger people don't want to get
Yep.
driver's licenses. You know what I think changed that? COVID. People realized, hey, you
Yes.
know what? I can live somewhere else and get a lot more for my money, and maybe live someplace I want to live, or maybe I want to buy a van and travel around and be, I hate to use the term, but digital nomad. And you need a driver's license and some kind of vehicle to do that in. Because once you get out of the city, you're going to have to drive around to get stuff, right?
That is very true. And you can just see, well, look what's happened to minivans. They really don't sell many
Mm-hmm.
anymore because the SUVs have largely replaced them.
Right. So,
And some SUVs are beginning to look a lot more like station wagons.
they are.
I know that's a curse word.
I don't know anymore. I don't know. It might come back around. It might come back
Yeah.
around. But what do you think? Put us a comment out there. What do you think? Will the
Yeah.
sedan return, and will Gen Z be the people that bring it back? Well, we'd like to know. We'd like to hear what you have to say here on Cruise Control. Les, you and I have been talking about this, how electric cars are evolving. That's the ultimate segue right there.
That's right.
Because this next thing is called Evolve Plus. It is an EV subscription program that was revealed by Hyundai out at the Chicago Auto Show. And what it is a way for people to get into the world of electric cars. They call them EV curious, the audience, without buying an expensive electric car and saying, oh, you know what? I should have waited 3 years because now the range is greater and now it recharges faster and now. So what they've come up with is a plan called Evolve Plus. The new service, it offers flexibility and affordability to the customer who wants to drive Hyundai's newest electric vehicles, but without a commitment to a long-term lease or a purchase. And it is a month-to-month subscription service that covers 1,000 miles. That's 1,000 miles a month. Insurance, maintenance, registration, roadside assistance at a starting price of $699 per month for the Kona Electric and $899 a month for the Ioniq 5. And you can cancel at any time during each subscription period, and there is no long-term commitment required. Other subscription services require customers to lock into a 3 to 5 month minimum. Evolve Plus is currently available at select dealerships in 6 states and plans to add more by the end of the year. No paperwork, no commitment, no long-term loan. It is for the EV curious. I'll tell you what. I thought of this right away. If you were working remotely and you needed a car, that is a lot cheaper than renting a car. for a
Well,
month.
I was about to say that. I just searched what the average cost to rent a car for a month in the U.S. The average right now is almost $1,400.
So here you would get a brand new electric car. It would
Yeah.
be completely covered. Not that you're probably going to have an issue in a month, but you get insurance, and then you just bring it back at the end of the month and say, okay, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
I got the idea.
Yep. Thanks very much. There was something that if you were going to buy, for instance, another Hyundai, and you're planning, in fact, you're going to order one.
Right.
You could, while you're in there, you could essentially rent an electric one for a month.
You could.
And say, okay, I'll take this for a month, or if it's 2 months before I get the one I ordered, and give me a chance to try it out. And of course, it's cheaper than renting.
Right. It is cheaper than renting, and
Great idea.
yeah, I think it's a great idea. And good for Hyundai. Do you think we'll see more programs like this from other manufacturers?
I think so. I think, every manufacturer right now is looking at this, saying, well, hey, if Hyundai's doing this, we ought to do it too.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, let's talk about another vehicle that is a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. Well, maybe not bigger than that big Grand Highlander that we first talked about. Mazda has announced pricing on its first ever 2024 Mazda CX-90. It will have a starting MSRP of $39,595 and will arrive in dealerships in the spring of 2023. They have a couple of different engine combinations for this vehicle, and they're all new. They are straight sixes. They have a 3.3-liter Turbo S model with the E-Active 3.3 inline 6 turbo engine that has an estimated 23 miles to the gallon city, 28 miles highway, 25 combined. The standard E-Active with a 3.3 inline turbo engine gets about 24 to 28 miles to the gallon. Then they have the hopped-up version, which I believe is their most powerful production engine that they've ever built, which has 340 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. That is the 3.3 inline 6 turbo, which is pretty impressive. And then you can also get it with a plug-in hybrid powertrain with a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine and the electric motor that produce about 323 horsepower. So pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Also available is a detuned 3.3-liter turbo with 280 horsepower that can do pretty well on regular fuel as well. So all three get the 8-speed automatic transmission, which is new to Mazda as well. And it comes in the 3.3-liter turbo, Turbo Select, Turbo Preferred Plus, Turbo Premium, and Turbo Premium Plus. And plug-in hybrid version comes in plug-in hybrid preferred and plug-in hybrid premium and premium plus. So a lot of choices there. The range of prices is pretty amazing here as well. The CX-90 3.3 Turbo Select starts at $39,595, and then if you get the CX-90 3.3 Turbo S Premium Plus, it can go all the way up to $59,950, which is quite stout. I know, Les, you are a fan of the Soul Red paint.
Well, everybody is. Everyone loves that color.
Well, you're going to have to pony up $595
of
more
course.
for that, because
of course
might be worth it, though. That is a cool color.
Well, but that's kind of true for all the colors now, except for the basic, black, white.
Yeah, it's a good way to pop some extra money on that.
Yeah, it's called a value added feature.
Value added feature, yeah.
Yeah.
Money added feature for sure, but certainly worth it. Very cool looking deal. All right, well, now on to the question, Les, that you probably scratched your head about, but maybe you haven't thought of why we do it. Why do we like the smell of gasoline? Do you have any theory?
Well, I think there are just certain aromatic odors that appeal to the human olfactory system.
Unlike a recent one in your area, but
unlike certain ones.
Yes. Yes.
But again, I don't find today's gasoline a particularly pleasant smell, but I know a lot of people don't mind it at all.
All right. Well, this study comes from the University of Liverpool research study. The Drive brought this article to us. And it's two leading theories. And I think I understand the first one. The first one is psychological and is based on Marceau-Proust's premise, the Proust phenomenon, named after the famed French novelist, hypothesizes that smell can trigger vivid, special memories. Absolutely.
I agree.
Because when I smell racing gas, I think of fun times at the drag strip.
Absolutely. And you smell, you're at a party, you smell a particular perfume that you smelled 15, 20 years ago, and it always reminds you of someone or some particular event.
Yeah, I mean, my dad and I
marshmallows.
We were touring a Navy base, and the smell of boilers being lit off in steam-powered ships. It's a unique smell, and he said it brought him back to his time in the Navy. Very, very unique smell that it was. So I think that is why we probably like it. But the second reason, this article says, is a bit darker and relies on a physiological theory. Gasoline contains very fine amounts of benzene.
Yes.
And the researchers hypothesize that benzene numbs our mesolimbic system, known as our reward pathway, and it gives a pleasant sensation for a brief moment. Benzene can also be found in glue, tobacco smoke, and paint. There's a combination for you.
Well, remember the glue sniffing that?
Yeah, 60s.
In the old days.
Yeah.
And when I open a can of shellac, I love that smell. It's basically solvent alcohol, and the shellac itself has it's probably benzene. It just smells terrific.
Yeah.
And by the way, you shouldn't
be smelling it. No, it can cause. Let's say that benzene can also, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, lead to headaches, tremors, irregular heartbeat, and even unconsciousness.
Yeah.
So that's not something you want.
Don't breathe in these vapors.
No, but I think it's more like the first thing where you think of, oh yeah, I had my first car, but I mean, I might be out here on a show like this by saying I don't like the smell of old cars that smell heavy of exhaust because your clothes smell like it after you drive.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny. We never noticed back when we were driving these older cars that they smell.
Yeah. So I am of the thought where I would run fuel injection and catalytic converters, high flow catalytic converters, to cut the smell.
I would agree.
Yeah. Okay. Let the emails and comments begin.
Let them begin.
Yeah, but I'd rather not smell like that when I get out of a car. I don't want to smell and say, oh, I have to take a shower and launder my clothes. You know?
Exactly. And again, don't sniff this stuff if you can avoid it, because it isn't. It is toxic.
The worst thing would be side pipes on an old Corvette, where it's right at your.
I know the feeling well.
Yeah. Anyway, so there is a new study about the smell of gas, and I've wondered about that. You know what else smells bad on gas? Spoiled gas, old gas.
Yes,
that
that's
smells
sour,
terrible,
rancid. Yeah,
terrible stuff. Hey, news in from Ram this week. They have confirmed the name of their first electric pickup, and it is, drum roll please, Ram 1500 REV, or REV. Ram electric vehicle.
I hope they didn't spend a lot of time thinking about that.
Yeah.
But it's simple. It tells what it is. So good.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. Other news, over at Jeep, they have announced the anniversary of the Rubicon, the Rubicon edition. It is 20 years of the Rubicon. Hard to believe, right? Doesn't seem like 20 years.
Yep, that's another trip I wouldn't go on.
Well, you like the Rubicon model, just not the.
The Rubicon model, yes.
But they're going
to driving the Rubicon. No,
they're going to have a 20th anniversary models with an upfit from Expedition Vehicles (AEV) with 37-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain TA KO2 tires.
37.
Creating the most capable Wranglers ever, with unmatched 14.2 inches of ground clearance, 37 inches of water fording, 50-degree approach angle, 33-degree breakover angle. You're going to be able to get this on the Rubicon 4XE and the 392. And, they're all about special editions, so I am sure these special editions will sell well. Don't you think?
And absolutely. And by the way, just because it's fun, the inside information at Jeep is that it was 20 years ago that a group of Jeep engineers, affectionately known as the Lunatic Fringe, put their own personal credit cards down and designed, engineered, and developed the Rubicon.
Wow.
And good for them.
Yeah, good for them. One of the things that this vehicle comes with, and I hope we see it a lot more, is Gorilla Glass. So it is, you don't get those chips and scrapes, and it's nothing worse than driving along the highway and a stone comes out of nowhere. Where do they come from? There's no other cars around.
They're like ticks. They're just sitting there waiting to jump on the car.
Right. And they slam into your windshield, and now you've got a chip in it. Yeah. Hey, when we come back, I am going to have an at-the-wheel review of the RC 350 FSport. Beautiful car. And we're going to have that review when we come back. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We got a couple of things going there, but that's okay. More for your money here at Cruise Control. We've got an at-the-wheel review. This time around, it is the incredible Lexus RC 350 FSport all-wheel drive 2+2. incredible vehicle. This was in one of the coolest colors I have ever seen, ultrasonic blue mica. Cool color, don't you think, Les Jackson?
It is a cool color, and it's a deep, shiny. See your reflection in it. You can't miss it.
No. And then on the inside, a beautiful black and white high contrast interior. Just a grand vehicle. This one, of course, because it is the 350, is powered by the 3.5-liter V6, 311 horsepower, 6-speed automatic, full-time all-wheel drive, steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Of course, it's got the console mounted trackpad, love it or hate it. That a lot of people feel that's a little outdated these days, but Lexus has stuck with it. FSport is a package that gives you bolstered front and heated ventilated power seats. It gives you outside mirrors and steering wheel power, tilt and telescope, drive mode select for S and S Plus, and custom modes, FSport suspension tuning, adaptive variable suspension, 19-inch split spoke alloy wheels, dark gray, streamlined trim, and the FSport grille and movable meter. That's a little bit about the FSport. But let's talk a little bit. That is a package, by the way, that tacks on, well, they don't actually break it out for us, but that is the model, actually, the RC350 FSport and all-wheel drive. I would say this is kind of, in a good way, an old-school, touring car. Look at that. It's got the short rear deck, the long hood, powerful engine, comfortable cockpit, 2+2 seating, just sporty style, but it's not in your face either. It's not, a snarling V8 and lots of decals and all kinds of things like that. It has elegance. Look at that rear deck spoiler that is built in, just formed right into the trunk lid. Really nice job. Not a lot of badging on the car, not being overdone. The wheels are not garish. I think it says luxury, it says quality, but it is also a very sporty car, and it is a very sporty car.
Oh yeah.
It on the road, this thing got a lot of looks. It was incredible to drive. The various different drive modes in the vehicle that are part of the FSport package were really welcomed and made a big difference. And it was loaded with a ton of options, including triple beam LED headlights that were slightly over $1,100. Navigation and Mark Levinson audio package, which brought in voice command and the Levinson 17-speaker 835-watt premium sound system. That was a $2,725 option. Once again, we were talking earlier about premium paint. This one's got it for that ultrasonic blue mica, $595 for that. That is a cool color I would put on a hot rod any day. How about you?
Oh, definitely. Although, got to be careful about the interior color.
Yeah, well, that's
for the
what
hot rod.
They've kept it white and black, so you gotta stay pretty.
Yeah, white I really like.
Yeah, it's had a power moonroof. It had the FSport heated steering wheel, which is certainly a bargain at $150. And keep in mind, this is all-wheel drive V6, 311 horsepower. Even the underhood area of the Lexus looks good. They do just such a good job of keeping it clean and making it classy. So a classy touring car. It actually has a trunk and even a first aid kit. Lexus always includes one of those. That's nice. And what's kind of a nice surprise is there is a compact spare under there if you dig into that plastic panel. I would say this is a car, I wonder if it gets the attention it deserves in the Lexus lineup. Are there a lot of people looking for an all-wheel drive, two-door, those big doors, you know, and the rear seat passenger, it's just like the old days. You have to tilt the seat forward to get in there. I don't know, but I tell you what.
I don't. I mean, the typical Lexus buyer is, let's say, middle-aged, family, professional.
Right.
So no, I think the number of them looking at that is pretty small. Although I think that they tend to be bought by people who own other Lexuses and figure, oh, I want a nice little sporty car for the weekends.
Well, it is a nice little sporty car, but it's not inexpensive. Before destination, $57,060, plus the delivery fee and handling. $58,135 is the ticket on this RC350 FSport all-wheel drive. You can get, if you like the look of this vehicle, but you say, well, you know, that's just a little too much, you can get the 300, which has a 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged and intercooled 4-cylinder with 241 horsepower, which I'm sure is an enjoyable car to drive. But you know, it's your choice. And then you can go up. They have the RCF carbon package. And beyond that, the RC300 would start at $45,470, and then if you go all the way up to the RCF Track Edition, which I believe comes with the V8, I'd have to check that. I believe that comes with the V8. That's $100,720.
That's very much like that other one, that supercar they had about
RCF. Yes.
15 years ago.
A 5-liter V8 producing 472 horsepower. RCF is the most powerful V8-powered Lexus to date.
Wow.
and I have to read this because, you know, you have to read stuff like this. It boasts stunning looks, cunning dynamics, and a unique exhaust signature.
There you are.
Yeah. But I tell you, this is kind of the middle ground at $57,000 in the lineup. You know, what would it be comparable? I would say would it be comparable to a BMW Z4 maybe?
Well, yeah, actually that would probably be right in there with the competition.
Yeah. Just a premium sporty touring car with a lot of quality because it is a Lexus and all-wheel drive. And that is the RC350 and the RC350's all-wheel drive 3.5-liter V6. They all share, they say, a sound reminiscent of the car you were talking about, the LFA supercar.
The LFA, yep.
Yeah. And it is quite the car. So
it's cool. I like it.
I love the color. I just thought it was an impressive car. It's not gonna appeal to everyone, but it is going to be something that, as you said, it might appeal to Lexus owners that want a second car that is a little bit more sporty and a little bit more aggressive than what they're used to. So, hey, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that and more. And we're glad the Cruise Control Cat made a small visit to the studio today.
That's our quality control.
Quality Control Cat saying good deal. So once again, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information.